ti sùn lọ. Ohun tí fún àwọn ọmọ lọ. Ó ti sùn lọ. Ohun tí ọmọ.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening, sir.
How are you doing?
My mic not muted.
Good evening, sir.
My mic is not muted. Sir.
Online already. Barrister Tolu Evitable, welcome. Nice to have you. Mr. David Timothy, nice to have you this evening. So, what are we doing? Most of my time, I know that this people here are people who are something doing it.
Is not clear, sir.
Can't hear me. I'm saying no, I'm meeting. Oh, yeah.
So, what we're considering this evening is the business outlook for 2026 for small and growing business owners. And a lot of things to be changing in the landscape of Nigerian business. Part of this need to consider is the legal aspect, how this affects us. Please, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
The sound is
Yes,
not.
I can hear you.
All
That's fine.
right. The sound is not what, sir?
Yes, it's coming up. The sound is coming up.
One of the things we're looking at is how the new tax law affects our business as a small and growing business owner, and also how to better prepare ourselves for these changes in terms of bookkeeping and strategic human resource. So tonight we have Mr. Kolade, Mr. Adelu Timothy, Barrister Adi. Barrister Tolu, are you there? Hello, Barrister.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
We are starting the program. I would like our speakers to introduce themselves, what they do, so that this gives us what to expect further from them as participants. So I'll be starting from Barrister Oguntade.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. So I am Toluwalope Ogutade. I am a legal practitioner, and I do a bit in helping startups to comply with the law and every regulatory provisions that we have in Nigeria. So that is what I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that wonderful introduction.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kolade.
All right, thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, rather at this side. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kolade. Can you hear me, please? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm Kolade Oronele. I'm a consultant, human resource management consultant, and we do more of management strategy and consulting for companies in terms of managing the human capital and bringing structure to the company for effective productivity. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doctor. I don't know if Adele Timoteo is here with us right now. Mr.
Yes,
Adelu.
hello everyone. Good evening. I'm Adeolu Timothy. I am an IT consultant and I'm a business developer as well. Thank you.
So, without further delay, let's get into the business of the day. And my first question will go to Barrister Oguntade. Ma, I want you to give us a brief background concerning the tax law in Nigeria. And before I ask the first question, and how the tax system, ecosystem in Nigeria as a whole, how it has been in time past before June of 2025.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Once again. So the tax law in Nigeria, as we all know, was not something that was easy to combine for everyone, especially business owners in Nigeria, because we had the taxes separated, splitted into different areas. We have to deal with so many laws in order to be able to pay your tax as a business owner or as an individual in Nigeria before June 2025, while we have when this policy, this new law, tax reform came about. Before June 2025, before the presidency thought about bringing about the new tax reform that we have in Nigeria now, there are so many tax laws that are working in Nigeria. We had the Administrative Act, we have the Nigerian Revenue Service Act, we have the Joint Board Act, the Joint Revenue Board Act, and we have so many other laws. Because of these discrepancies, because of these differences, so many businesses, they find it difficult to be able to think of what are we really doing? How many taxes do we want to pay? They feel like these taxes are cumbersome, and of a truth, it was cumbersome because they had to bring so many things together, sit down, think about which one we are really doing and which one can we evade because of the cumbersomeness of the tax processes in Nigeria. That was what we have before June 2025. But then, and it was a very appealing tax for businesses and individuals to pay tax in Nigeria. And that is why we used to have and still have till now so many people evading taxes. If I ask any one of us now, when last did you pay your tax as an individual or as a business owner in Nigeria? So many of us will not be able to give an answer because here in Nigeria, we are not used to that system because the system that was on ground did not make it so easy for everybody to pay tax. But then, with the reforms that are now on ground, we believe that things are changing and there is going to be a new leaf with regards to our tax system, which I believe that is part of the things that we are going to be discussing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. So my first question is, we need to understand this tax reform, the fiscal reform, the incentives, and the challenges. And I would like to ask you, Mark.
Okay.
What are the key highlights of this tax reform that small business owners should be aware of, and how some of these changes, how it affects small and growing business owners? Do you get that, man?
I get you. So one thing that I want us to have at the back of our mind is that this new tax reform that we are talking about, everybody, almost every segment, every chat, every groups online, especially the ones that has to deal with business owners and the like, are talking about the business reform, about the tax reform rather, that we are having in Nigeria now. And everybody is saying different things about it. In fact, so many people have been protesting that it is better that the federal government scrap it because it has been said by some people that this new tax reform is going to make everybody to pay a lot of tax. And mind you, in Nigeria, we are not used to paying tax. And you know that changes does not really come easily. But then, Mr. Oloyede, yes, can you hear me? Like Mr. Oloyede was saying, Mr. Oloyede is the chairman of a presidential task force on reform on these new taxes that we have in Nigeria. Mr. Oloyede Taiwo was saying that the issue with this, our new reform, is that we know the proverbial elephant story and the blind man. They said one day the blind men, they took themselves and they were going in the bush and they met a very big elephant. And because they couldn't see, so all of them, they head on to the elephant. Someone was holding the trunk of the elephant and he said, oh, this elephant is a trumpet. Somebody said it's a big fan. Somebody said it's a cock. Everybody was giving different definition to the elephant until someone that can see was able to come and tell them and say, oh, this is not it's not a cock, it's not a trumpet, it's not this, it's not that, but it's an elephant because it was that person that was able to see it. One thing that I have seen over the time with this new reform that we are talking about now about our taxes in Nigeria is that so many people have different opinions for it. But then this evening, I want you to believe that one main essence of the presidency coming up with this tax reform is to ensure that small businesses in Nigeria grow. And by the time we finish with this talk in the next few minutes, you'll be able to agree with me that one of the aims of this tax reform is to ensure that small businesses in Nigeria thrive, and that the presidency is not all about killing small businesses. In fact, it's one of the ways of bringing ease to small businesses. Now, so many people have talked that this tax is going to take away all their earnings, all their incomes, and the like. I want us to have a change of mentality. Now, number one thing that makes this tax different from this new reform different, and please, can I correct this? So many people have been saying that from January 1, 2026, this new reforms is going to take effect. There is no declaration by the presidency, and there is no law as at now that has told us in Nigeria that this reform is going to take effect until we hear from the horse's mouth. That is when we can decide when this reform is going to take effect. That is number one. So it might take effect probably first day of January 2026, as we have all been saying, or in the mid, or even by the end of the year, who knows? But one thing is that the presidency is ready to go with this reform, because this is one of the best reforms that we have in Nigeria. With my research, I see that, that normally what we used to do in Nigeria is that they will just tell us that there is a new law. We don't even know. There was no referendum. There was no people giving their opinion about it. But this was different. There were so many people from various areas, all the 36 states in Nigeria, sectors, parastatals, they came together. Business owners, Iyalojas Association, they came to give their quota into this tax reform. And I believe that with this contribution, it's going to make it easier for business owners to thrive in the payment of their taxes in Nigeria. Now, number one thing is that this tax reform, the payment of taxes under this reform, has a more progressive personal income tax. Now, what is more progressive? Unlike what we used to have in Nigeria, that is regressive. In Nigeria before, everybody, whether you are a low earner, a high earner, a salary earner, everybody had a fixed rate of payment of their taxes. But now there has been, this reform has been able to identify classes of people. And under this reform, under this new tax reform, we have like 3 segments of people. Now we have the low earners, we have the middlemen, and we have the high earners. Now, one thing that is certain is that this tax reform has done is that when you are a low earner, for instance, if the profit you make in a year, now there has been misconceptions online about if you can have like 800,000 in your account as a business owner or as an individual, you are taxable per annum. Now, the law is saying that they are not saying that the whole of the money that is meant to be in your account as a business owner or as an individual should be 800,000 before you are taxable. Now, the 800,000 is the taxable income. And how do we determine taxable income? Taxable income are gross income minus deductions, which will give you your profit. Now, the reform is saying that if you are a business owner, if you are making like 1.2 million in a year, by the time you deduct your rent, by the time you deduct this amount that you used to pay your staff, everything, before you can have a tax deduction on that business, you are supposed to have a profit margin of 800,000. Not like you are having 800,000 in your account, and that is where the deduction will come from. No, it is after the deduction. And someone will be asking me, how would the government know that this is how we do it? In fact, this reform has done it so much that they have built so many systems around it. I believe that by the time it really comes into enhancement and we are doing it in Nigeria, many Nigerians will be able to live by it. Now, under this new tax reform, personal income tax for personal income tax for high earners. Yes.
Before we go forward, I also like to
ask
Mr. Timothy, so that I also like to ask Mr. Timothy, he's the founder of Quotely.ng. Mr. Adeolu Timothy, are you there? Hello, sir.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So now, while Barrister was talking, he was mentioning the amount to have in the account. It should be up. It will be the profit, not the overall. Now, there's a challenge as small business owners. How do we? Bookkeeping is very important, but of us, we are complacent. We don't. So now, with these reforms, how do we track? What are the ways that we can track our expenses effectively so that we can enjoy some tax deductible, sir? Do you get that, sir?
All right, yeah, I got you. Let me start by saying that structure is an important part of a business. And the challenge most people have is we start as being self-employed. I'm just doing this as a side hobby, as a side hustle. And eventually it grows beyond just that phase. But to now transit from being self-employed to being a proper business, that is where the major problem lies. And one of the things that indicates you are a proper business is that, number one, your business is registered. But beyond the documentation of your business being registered, there is the operational part of documenting things. Keep record of everything that comes in, keep record of every expenses that go out, learn the basics of income statements. I bought goods for 20,000. I sold it for 30,000. Is 10,000 my profit? No. Out of that 30,000 is where you start to calculate what is the cost of goods sold. Can you hear me? Are we together? Can you still hear me, please?
We can hear you, sir.
All right, beautiful. Now, out of the 30,000 naira that you sold, you want to calculate what is the cost of goods sold. You want to calculate your rent. You want to calculate the salary. You want to calculate how much did you spend on marketing. And after you have deducted every of those things, when you can start to talk about, the profits you have made. But all of these are difficult when things are not documented. And documentation starts from something as simple as when people want to patronize your business, you send them a quote. Something as simple as when you do a service, you render a service, you issue them an invoice, you issue them a receipt. Even if you are doing it for free, for documentation's sake, issue a receipt, indicate that you are giving 100% discount, call it whatever name, but something as simple as that, having those systems in place automatically shows you the financial health of your business, the financial standing of your business. So it's not going to be difficult to see how much came in, how much went out, what is the net profit, what is the gross profit. So documentation is a very important part of knowing that. Thank you.
Now, before you go, now, how can we leverage? Now, I know that you are the founder of quoteme.ng, and as small business owner, you made mention of something, you were talking about structure, but during the registration for this business, the stats that we have, in fact, I wanted to display them, but I couldn't extract them out. About of every 100%, I think about 20 people registered for this webinar, and virtually everybody, just about 65% of them are one-man business, just only one staff, which means like the one running their business on their own, and the remaining 40%, they had 55 staffs. So now, document properly. You are thinking about strategy. You are thinking human resource. You are thinking about car marketing as small business owner. What role does technology play in effective documentation? And also, as a person, I've been using some other accounting software. I also want to ask, using quoteme.ng, because I know basically quoteme.ng helps. Well, you should really want to talk about that. So how does it differentiate? How does it add to my efficiency? I don't have money to get another staff that will be paying some thousands of naira again. So how can I leverage on technology to track my expenses as a small business owner? And what advantage do I have if, say, I want to use the software developed by your company?
All right. So number one is tech is an enabler. tech enhances your business. And when you hear tech, it is not something too complicated or something very far away. When we talk about structure, it's not something, very complicated that, oh, it's a very big company, I'm a very small company. Your WhatsApp is a technology because it's a channel of communication with your business. Now, when people reach out and they want to do business with you, something as simple as what they want to do, you send them a quote. When they've paid, you send them a receipt and all of those things. That is tech. Now, you ask, what can Quote Me app do? One of the things we've built is there is the free version that is available to every business owner because we don't want to burden small businesses. Some businesses are not, that big to be paying for tools and all of that. And you will notice as well what type of business is free and all of that. That is the same approach we have taken. At least if your business is doing an average of 50 invoice per month, 50 quotes per month, it's available for free. If you are the only one using it, you don't have a team member or your company is not a multi-level staff, it's free. It supports email. So it means whenever you are signing up, you are doing business with any customer, you just need their name, their phone number, their email, what they are doing. The system automatically sends it to them. And so all you need to do is if you need them to pay, once you click on share, right, it's automatically, you can share to WhatsApp. But as your business grows, you have other staffs. Let me try and see if I can share my screen from here. You have other staffs who work with you. There's something we call role-based permission. Can you see my screen, please? There's something we call role-based permission. And what that simply means is you only have access to what you are permitted to have access to. So it means you as the business owner can set up. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, beautiful. So like I was saying, once you come to the platform, we have the free version. And these are the things you get on the free version. It works on your phone. You can export your invoice, your receipt as PDF. It does your payments tracking and all of that. Now, if you have a staff, so I'm logged in, it's as simple as if I come here, I have all the invoice. If there are people I work with and their payment is recurring, maybe monthly, I can automatically configure that. I can have the list of all of my customers. All I just do is add clients, their name, their email address, the industry, and all of that. And once you have done that, it's pretty simple. I can add catalog. Catalog are the product I offer. So let's say I do flyer design, right? I can say it's flyer design. The default rate is 5,000, and it is per item. Category, it's a service. This is there and is created. So all I need to do, if somebody wants an invoice, I just create the invoice and I select this. I add if they are paying VAT. This way, it's easier for you to even push the VAT payment and all of that to your customer because they see it as this is what they are paying for. This is VAT and it automatically calculated. I put this and I can just review it. So whether you are just the one running your business yourself, so customer's name, let me put team, let me put email address, I create. Now, once you create your customer, it automatically saves it. If it's a recurring invoice, I can just select it here and specify when it should remind the customer. So with all of this, it's easier for you to focus on building your business. Focus on doing what you need to do and automate some of the processes that do not require your direct, and that is what it means to leverage on technology to enhance your business. Something as simple as for every business we do, we document it, we send invoice. What that does for your business is this. It means at just a glance, you can see the financial health of your business. You can see how much have we sold. And now that brings me to talking about every decision you now make about your business. You are making decisions based on data. You are not just assuming and saying, I think, I know. When you need to expand your business, you can see it and say, okay, this is how much we are doing per year. When you need to apply for tax exemption, because some people don't even know that as a business owner, you can write and apply for you to be exempted in paying certain taxes. You have data to back it up and say, okay, this is how much we are doing. This is what our profit looks like. These are the customers we have. And beyond just that, it helps you with marketing. You know customers who pay highly. You know customers who don't pay enough. You know customers you need to follow up, and every of those things. That is what tech does to your business, whether it's a one-man show or if it's a big business, if it's just one person or you have multiple branches, you can manage every of these things from just your phone. Thank you. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Kolade.
Yes, sir. I'm with you, sir.
Mr. Kolade.
Yes, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. Okay, I can hear you. Now, one of the greatest challenge, small business owners, you are an HR, human resource manager, and you have a consultancy firm. One of the challenges that small business owner has is putting structures and system in place in terms of policy, making company policy, staff management, staff retention. Preparing for 2026 for small business owners as a professional in human management, as a human people's person, what are the advice, counsel that you give to growing business owners in light of the development that is happening in accordance with the tax law? How can we take advantage of putting proper structure in place? Mr. Timothy has talked about the use of technology as to this regard. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, our host. I want to believe that you can hear me clearly. And I want to give kudos to Barrister and Mr. Tim. That's a very succinct enlightenment. After now, I'm going to try to connect with Barrister and Mr. Tim. I'm seeing something very beautiful there we can do together. Yeah, thank you, our host. That's a very beautiful question. And I'm going to pick it up from where Mr. Tim started. He said, majority of business owner, they start their business like a side hustle.
Sir, please, if you can increase your volume.
Okay, can you hear me? Is it clear? Is my voice clear now? Is it clear? Is it clear?
It's clear, but it's not loud.
Okay, all right. Maybe I should try to increase the volume. But is it clear now? Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes.
Yes, it's better.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I said I appreciated what Mr. Tim said earlier, and I want to pick it up from there. Now, he started with a statement which is very, very germane, and majority of challenge we have had over time with business owner is this. Many of them started with just a side hustle, like he said. And sometimes many of them were not sure of what they were doing. But one way or the other, the thing started coming up. The major problem they have is transition between what I'm just doing to hit and now when they want to become a proper business. Now, management is one of the critical parts of business. If you miss it, you miss it. Because even the issue of finance we are talking about, it is human capital that is going to drive that productivity to get your results done. Now, when business is getting to a point where you can no longer handle it yourself, that is when you want to start. By the time you are still doing your business yourself, that is only you, that you are doing everything, it's not yet a business to me, because there is not yet a structure in it. So, but by the time the business grew to the point that your delivery now cannot only be done without the effort of people, that is when you want to start. But to now transit from that point into a well-structured business organization, and that's where expertise need to come in. And I want to really give kudos to some of the CEOs that quickly embrace, like Mr. Tim said, every businesses need to start embracing technology. The same way they are embracing technology, they have to embrace professionalism in terms of human management. I will just mention 3 things in the face of business in 2026. All the business owner must understand the pivot of management. And when we are talking about pivot of management, there are 3 critical fundamental questions that you must ask yourself as a business owner. Number 1, what am I managing? How am I to manage? And when am I managing what? If these 3 questions are well answered by any business person, I want to assure that you are good to go. Now, let me quickly look at it. I said there are 3 things that form the fundamental or that form the pivot of management. There are 3 fundamental questions that form the pivot of management. What, how, and when. Now, the first thing as a business owner, when you are transiting into a proper structure, like Mr. Tim said, you must ask yourself a question: what am I managing? And so I will highlight few things that business owner must understand as what they are managing. Number 1, you are managing the scope of your business, the scope of your idea. The problem many business owners have is that sometimes they start with one thing, but as the thing is going, yes, there's a principle of diversifying in business, but not outside the scope of your business in the first place. So when any business owner wants to form a structure, the first thing is that define your scope. What am I doing? What am I into? I'm into production. What are you producing? I am producing wood. And in production of wood, there are different kinds of wood. So before you start developing your structure, or before you start bringing in people into your organization, we must be sure of what you are doing. And so what are you doing? What am I managing? The scope. And so what is the focus in managing your scope? You must understand the idea specification. What is the specification of your idea? Now, I think I know the host. I know what he does. And sometimes we try to talk. There was a day he was speaking to me. Okay, this is what we are doing. We are into branding, manufacturing basically. But a time came when some people begin to bring, okay, can you print on cups? Can you print on this? They can actually do it. But they have to first look at it. Is it part of the specification of our idea initially? Because the moment the idea is not specified, the moment we don't understand the scope of what you are doing, and you start bringing in people, you should be sure that any moment from now, that business is going to crash, because people are going to be confused. We are doing this, we are doing this, we are doing this. What exactly is this company all about? That's number 1. You manage your scope. Number 2, you manage human resource. The fundamental assets, the asset of every organization is your people that work with you. And this is where many CEOs, many business owners miss it. They just felt that they can do it. They don't need people. You just treat people anyhow, except if that business is not ready to to be transferred, to grow into the next phase. Now, human is very critical in anything you do, in any production, in any services. There are human efforts, human mind, ideology, ability to manage people in an organization. We actually make that company or that business to quickly achieve its goal. Because if you are the only one that understands what you are doing and people around you are not understanding what you are doing, you are not going anywhere. And so this is where winner comes in. When there is a structure in managing people, imagine people comes into your business, they understand the vision of the business, they understand what they too are coming to benefit, they understand that, okay, we can grow with this business. I stand to tell you, when you work together as a team, you achieve more than what you even expect in the first place. So what is the focus in managing human or in managing your human resource? The first thing is that you must understand the nature of your employees. You must understand the team spirit, and you must understand the leadership capacity. And so what is the means to achieve it? And that is where the expertise of professionals comes in. How do I achieve human resource management effectively? Number one, there must be effective recruitment. The means people enter your business will determine how they will perform in your business. This is another challenge some business owners just have. They just, okay, this is my younger brother. Come in, come and help me to do this. They don't separate personal relationship from structure. And these are the couple of challenges that we have had with many business owners. You just bring somebody from your church to come and handle what? You should know that at that point, he's just going to handle anything. But the first thing is that effective recruitment process, because part of the structure of your organization is that what are we doing? How many departments is needed to achieve our goals? What is the job description for each department? In each department, what are the required skills? This is our responsibility. You know, when Mr. Tim mentioned the issue of structure, I was just glad, because it's the major challenge for business owner. They don't even know what they want. They just know that they are doing something. It is along the line that many of them don't actually know what they want until some things begin to happen. They don't really even know what they want. So you must be able to understand that how people enter your business will determine their performance. So there must be a structure to manage them. There must also be an adequate training for the people you are bringing into your business. These are part of the structure. So when you bring people into your business, don't assume that they know what they should do. And you must understand that fact, because this is another challenge for business owner. They just feel that, say, I'm paying now, you should know what to do. No, there's a place of training, a specific training that is needed for your staff according to the specification of your business. Then number three, there must be there's what we call motivation theory. And this is another major challenge. Humans have most very difficult element to manage and even most easier element to manage. There are motivation theories. So, because just imagine I'm recruiting for a particular company currently, and I was interviewing this guy. He's currently on a job and he's ready to leave. I said, why? I probed him. He was saying, but we have our own psychology way to know the reason why somebody wants to leave that job. Somebody that is doing well. But do you know what? He said, what I'm giving into this company is not commensurating with what they are paying me. But some CEO don't care. They just feel that where this is what we can pay and go. No, especially when you begin to see that there is a resource person in your organization, this skill, this talent, you must not let it go. When you begin to lose some key person in your organization to another organization, you should know that, of course, you know your business is a competitive environment. You are losing it already. And so this person said, actually, one of the reasons I want to leave is that my pay is not commensurating with my effort. And it's not because this company is not earning. So there is a part of motivation. And business owner must understand that money alone does not motivate your staff. There are other things that motivate. There are intrinsic value, there are extrinsic value. These are the things we do personally, just to make sure that your staff are enjoying what they are doing so they can contribute effectively to that business and carry it in no time to the destination. The next thing you follow is performance evaluation. You must be able to evaluate, is this person performing? It is not because it's my younger brother or it's because of your family you're recruiting. Is it performing according to the job description and according to the KPI I have set? So this is the second thing the business owner must understand to manage. Of course, the third thing you manage is physical and material resources. I maybe because of our time, Mr. Tim is already talking about the issue of finance. It's part of the things to manage. But let me stay at that point. So in just one word, let me pick one thing, and the third part that I want the business owner to also manage: the values and the culture that guides your business. Is like a framework. It's like a frame that guides what you are doing. Any businesses that does not understand and highlight the values of the business and the culture that guide that business is not going anywhere. So, because by the time you bring anybody into the structure, part of the thing structures you entails is that the value of this company, this is what we are doing. This is how we relate with our customer. We are customer-centered. And this is how to do with our customer in this place. And the issue of the culture, what are the cultures that you are enacting in your workspace, in your work environment, that is even encouraging the customer to come? Your staff will determine whether your company will grow or not at the point of you transiting into that structure. So you must understand the value that is expected of your business, and you must understand the culture that governs your business. So how do we manage effectively? I've just highlighted what to manage. I just, out of 7 points I have here, I've just mentioned 3 for us. So how do I manage effectively? The first thing is that establish an effective working structure. And I love what Mr. Timmy said. When we're talking about structure, we're not talking about ambiguous things. It starts from the point of, what are we doing? What are the job descriptions? When are we resuming to work? When are we closing? What is the conduct in the place of work? When are we paying our staff salary? Who is in charge of what? Communication structure. These are the things that we must be able to establish. Please, can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me, sir? Okay, all right. So you must be able to understand, establish an effective working structure in terms of the mission of your business, the vision, and the strategy. Clearly define what is to be done, the procedures to follow, the skills required, the communication channel, and the role definitions. These are the things that must be in your structure. Well, that is where the expertise of professionals come in. The next thing is that acquire necessary training relevant to your business. You know, why I want to contact Mr. Timmy is that what he was projecting for me is already, I'm really enjoying it, because part of the things I do require time. I'm going to connect with you after that. You must understand the necessary training. You see, as a business owner, one of the things you need to separate is that separate passion from professionalism. When you were still doing it only you can use your passion, but when you are transiting into a structure, you need training. You need training. You need training. Sometimes you see some companies are sending their staff for special training. They are not wasting resources. So they understand the long-term effects. So you need to acquire necessary training. Do you know from what Mr. Tim was saying? Sorry for referencing what he was saying. You will understand that there are traditional way of managing your account before, when it's only you. But the moment you are bringing a structure in place as a business owner, you need to go for a specialized training on account management. So that is okay,
Mr. Kolade.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
you really dwell on a lot. I'm having network issue. That's why I had to switch devices. Barrister Tolulope, are you there, man? Barrister Ogunchade?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
All right. So the question I want to ask next from you is that what is the implication of registering as a business name as to being a limited liability? During the registration process, part of the data we got, about 50% of the participants, of the registered intended participants, have their business registered, and 100% of those 50% registered as business name. Looking forward into the new tax reform, what are the things that we should expect as a business name and as a limited liability, so that it's going to guard our decision making looking forward into the new year?
All right. Well done, Mr. Host. And one thing that I want us to understand is that every business owner in Nigeria that has taken the step to register their company, they are compliant and they are done well. However, with the new tax regime that we have in Nigeria now, that is going to take effect in 2026, before, once you have registered your company, either your business rather, either as an enterprise or as a limited liability company, you pay your tax. And like I told you while I was talking the other time, is a fixed tax rate. Everybody pays the same rate on what they make. Can you hear me? It's echoing here. Okay, so before now, every businesses pay a fixed tax rate. So it makes it quite unfair on persons that are small business, because the amounts they get to pay over the money they make in their small businesses are much, and compared to what they are making. And that is why, like I said, we have a lot of tax fading in Nigeria over the time. But now, under the new rule, under the new reform, one thing that is important that we have made to know is that if you register as a company, let me first say that registration as a company makes the company that you are operating a separate entity from the owner. Why, if you register as a business name and enterprise, you and your business, you are the same person. So this implies that every liability that your company, that your business that you are operating gets into, you get into it automatically, because the business is not separate from the owner. Now, under this rule, under this new tax rule, for businesses, companies that do not make up to 100 million, or that do not make up, 100 million as their profit, that do not make up to 100 million as their profit, and some that do not make up to 25 million for companies, they have tax exemption. That means they do not pay income tax on that profit that they make under the new tax rule. While for people that make from that have 100 million turnover and above, they pay 30% tax. Now let's look at it. If you had registered your company as a business name, that means that Remember that for individuals, we have said that the money that individuals can make as profit that makes them taxable in Nigeria now is 800,000 naira per annum. And the same thing applies to even government staff. The same thing applies to employees in government organizations. And I feel that if this tax is going really to be made effective in Nigeria, which is what we are praying for, there will be so much relief on government staff and employees in private institutions. But now let's come to think of it. You as a business owner, you are operating as an enterprise. Remember that your business is not separate from you. So the law presumes that it is an individual that owns that money. Now, let's say you have made a profit of 100 million after all the deductions. You fall under the 800,000, over 800,000 naira, which makes you taxable in your income tax. You will be liable to pay tax because it's a personal money. That is the essence. A business name is not separate from its owner, while a company is separate from its owner. Now, remember that for companies, before you can pay tax now in Nigeria, now what I mean by paying tax now is that income tax, the profit that you have made from whatever you are doing. Now, before you can pay tax, you must have a turnover of 100 million and a profit of 25 million. You must have a total turnover of 100 million and a fixed asset of 250 million. Now, let's imagine it together. Which company in Ogbomosho, now let's say we are in Ogbomosho now, wherever you are talking to me from, there are companies that they cannot have 100 million turnover for a year. Why, as an individual, once you have 800,000 profit, so you are taxable for personal income tax. Now, if you operate as a business owner, you and your business, you are the same thing. You are taxable with the range of that money that you are making. But if you are operating as a company, if you are registered as a company, you are not taxable, because before a company can work to the extent of making 100 million turnover for a year, that company must have grown. And remember, that was why I said at the beginning of this webinar that one of the main aim of this tax reform is to ensure that small businesses thrive in Nigeria. And I have listened to Mr. Taiwo over the time. That's the chairman of the presidential committee. He keeps restating it that they intentionally made these things this way so that taxes will not become cumbersome on small businesses. And so for now, they are encouraging every business owner so that you don't pay taxes that you are not meant to pay. If you are already operating as a business owner, do a transition into a limited liability company so that you and your company will be separate entity. So that the money that your company makes, if it does not fall under the 100 million turnover, then you are not taxable and you will not pay income tax on that money. Whereas if your money is just above 800,000 as profit and you are registered as a business owner, remember that you are still operating as a business, but your business entity is not different from yourself. You are liable to pay personal income tax to the government. And so that is why for us now, we must, for business owners now, it is a high time for business owner to be able to make decisions of what do I really want to do? Do I want to pay unnecessary tax while I can afford them and leave them until my business grows? Or I have to make this transition into becoming a limited liability company? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that explicit explanation. So now, from what you said,
yes,
businesses registered with business. The business owner and the business are the same entity. what's the legal
Yes.
implication that has? For instance, let's
All
say
right.
a business is registered as a business name, and the business now it did a deal and it went wrong, and the business is now sued, and probably there was some loss was incurred during the process of that deal. What was the implication being a business name registration?
All right. The intricacies of registering as a business name is that you had the business is you. And whatever the business does, it is presumed in law that you are the one that have done it. So if the business is indebted, you are the one that is indebted. Because it is, what do you say? Can you hear me?
That means someone can be liable for what
All right.
whatever
Yes,
happens in the
that
business.
person is liable for what the business. Why if you are registered at a company that is limited by liability? Now, a company limited by liability implies that there is an extent of liability that the director or the owner or shareholder in that company will have with regards to whatever happens to that company. So for instance, if a company now, remember that we say that a company is a legal entity on its own. That is why if a company is a limited liability company, you can buy properties, you can do transactions in the personal name of a business, of a company. But if you are registered as a business and you want to enter into a transaction or even write an agreement that has to bring in the entity of a business, you will discover that if you are doing it from the right person, your lawyer is going to write Mr. So trading under the name dash dash dash. But if it had to be a limited liability company, you don't even have to bring the name of the director inside, because it is believed that this company can stand on its own. The directors and shareholders are just there to help the business, to be the hands and the leg and the brain of the business. But the business is a standing thing on its own, so it can take its liability. So if a company that is limited by liability enters into bankruptcy, or let's say anything happen, there is a debt, you just don't carry the directors of a company limited by liability and go and throw them into prison or sue them to court. You sue the company. You don't even put the name of the director until it is established that the directors have acted outrageously. That is, they have gone beyond their power in law. Probably they mismanaged the company's money. In those instances, the directors or shareholders are personally made liable and they are brought into the picture. But if it is a business that is just an enterprise, whatever decision that the business takes, it is presumed that it is the owner of the business that takes it. So the liability for a business name is wider, while the liability for a company that is registered as a limited by liability. That means even from the name, you can say the liabilities of the owners are limited. So that is it. And that is the same thing that we are having in the tax law now. So if you are not registered as a liability, limited liability company, it's still the same thing. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, ma'am. My network is lagging seriously. We are coming to the end of the class.
And please, can I quickly, Mr. Timik, are you there?
Yes, my network is gone. All right.
Can I quickly
Please go
add
ahead.
that by the provision of this new tax reform, you see, we have been talking about keeping having records and everything. Now, this new tax reform has mandated it for every businesses to automatically set up an automated invoice system for their businesses. Because it is why every business can able to put up an automated invoices for their businesses that has the real-time notifications and everything. It is part of the way that the government is going to use to be able to track what exactly is coming in for each businesses and what exactly is going out from each businesses. And mind you, if you do not do these things, if you do not align with these provisions, the reforms have also created penalties for flaunting the law. So that is it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma. Thank you very much, ma. Mr. Timothy, sir. From what Barrister Tolu said, she mentioned that there has been provision of the law in case one flaunts these reforms, especially e-invoicing. Once again, I would like it briefly on how we can. Once again, I would like it briefly. If I want to use Quote Me for my business, the registration step, the onboarding, and how we can also get. So please, in a minute, let's have a recap before we entertain questions.
All right. So for those who want to use it, it's as simple as going to the website quoteme.ng. Once you get to the website quoteme.ng, the signing up process is straightforward like every other one. Just your email and you are good to go. When you get to the website, if you are visiting the website for the first time, you will see a download button, so you can download and install it like an app on your phone. I am currently using it on my phone, and once I just click on login, it brings me in here, right? And I can create invoice directly from the dashboard here. I can create quote. So quote is when you are still bidding for a project, and you are sending, this is how much it's going to cost and all of that. Once your prospective customer agrees to the quote, automatically you can switch it becomes an invoice. Also, if you just got a payment, you can select record payment. So that is if what the payment was not even if it was not an invoice you issued before, right? You can log a payment, the amount and all of those things can be done. So quickly, I'm just going to create an invoice. So I click on invoice. The numbering system, every invoice has a unique number. But if you want to customize it and you want it to say, okay, my own company name is Data Solution, I can do DSL. So it means every invoice will carry this unique number. If I want to use 4 digits, if I want to include year, I can do that and I save. So every invoice I create will automatically carry that numbering system. And I click on create invoice. You notice it automatically adds that. I can select if it's a new client. I do that if it's an existing client, I have it here. So I'm going to select existing client. This invoice is going to be due on the 28th of November. And this is the item that I want to sell to them. If I want to include VAT, I can do that. If I don't want to include VAT, I remove it. If there's a discount, maybe a percentage discount, I can include that here. Or if it's a fixed amount, any additional note I want to do, it's here. So automatically, it has calculated this. If I click on create and preview, this is what the invoice looks like. Now, From this page, I can download it as a PDF and send to the person via WhatsApp. When I download as PDF, it shows the account number to pay to, and it means you can even pay online as well. So it will add this payment link, this button. So that is one. I can decide to share via email. So this is what it shows. Once I click send invoice to email, it automatically sends the invoice to the customer's email. If what I want to do is I just want to copy the link, I can decide to copy this link and let me see. I can start to copy this link and go to WhatsApp and paste and send it. Once the person clicks this link, it automatically takes them to where they will pay. All right. So I don't have to chase them up. Now I can decide to copy to share. It says share via WhatsApp. So I've created the invoice. I click share. I select who I want to share to, and I send. And this is the message it shows them. Hi, Timothy, please pay for invoice this. They can click on this link from their WhatsApp. It takes them to the payment page. And once they pay, I automatically get the notification. So every of these things are automated. And you see a log. It says I generated this invoice, I've sent it when they pay. So it helps you to even track, but when did I pay? When did you send the invoice? I did not remember, and all of that. It gives you all of those issues that happens with customers, you can easily sort them. So that's like one of the value it offers. Secondly, I can come here to create the record of all of my customers. Or if it's a new customer, I can create them from client here, or I can create them when creating invoice. The third thing is catalog. Like I mentioned the other time, if I have different products that I sell, and I can always create the catalog and say, okay, I do t-shirts, and it's a white shirt, and the default price is say 50,000. If the unit is item, if it's per kg, if it's per piece, what category, it's a product. I create this, it automatically adds it to my catalog. So I can have every of the product or services I offer here, which makes it very easy for me, when creating invoice. Here we have payment. So every payment that has been processed, every of your transaction history, you can easily see them here with a click. This is wallet. Now, there is online payments implemented into it. So when you create an invoice and you send it out, there is an option for them to pay directly into your account, and there's an option for them to use online payments. Now, one of the things we do is once there is a payment, it shows on your dashboard, and you can always withdraw your funds. Now, when setting up, and you notice showing bank account not linked, it means if I come here, I can come to my company settings, and this is where it becomes interesting. My company information, I can put my logo, company name, company phone number, and I can specify the kind of look I want, if it is classic and whatever styling. Now, beyond doing that, once all of this is set, it automatically makes your invoice professional. And you can come to setting here. This is where you do your profile. Account type is free. This is where you add your account details so that it shows on your invoice. And like I mentioned, you have access to the free plan that gives you at least, it gives you 50 invoice and 50 quotes every month. If your business is doing more than 50 invoice a month, you are becoming a big business already. So these are some of the things that it helps you to achieve under settings, whether quotes, whether invoice. And if you have recurring payment, for instance, we have people who are freelancers. You work with a certain company, you do social media for them, and every 25th of the month they pay. You can set this up as a recurring payment. And what it does is it says, okay, this is a monthly pay. right? I can select which clients. So it means if I have 10, 15 clients that I work with, it automatically sends a reminder. I can specify how many times should it send. If I want it to send weekly, if I want it to send monthly, I can say, okay, I want it to send once every month. I said if I want to send twice every month, I can specify. Then you can specify when should it stop sending reminder, and every other thing flows like that. So it's as simple and as straightforward as that. I don't know if there are any questions or if that is, clear. Hello?
Yeah, we hear you, sir. We can hear you, sir.
All right,
Hello.
great.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Thank you very much. Please, from everything we've learned tonight, is there any question that we want to ask here? Or in case you want the contact of our facilitator, please, you can reach out to me so that I can probably get their mail for you. So that but I feel it will be okay if anyone asks questions so that we can all, learn from it. I feel anyone we can all, do it. Any question? Any questions so far? All right. In the absence of none, I think this will be the end of the webinar for tonight. Business outlook for the year 2026. And I hope we've learned one or two things that will help us in our decision making as small business owner going forward. I would like to thank our facilitators, Mr. Timothy, Mr. Kolade, and Barrister Gotade for making themselves available from their busy schedule. I want to apologize for the glitch. We planned that we'll spend an hour, but I think we're over 20 minutes now. Thank you very much for coming. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, all the facilitators.
Good night. Thank you for having us.